In this video here, we're going to take a look at a vision language model from Microsoft. So Microsoft have this model here called Florence-2. It can be used for object detection, image captioning, OCR, pretty much all of it. We're going to go through a Google Colab notebook that we have step by step and see all these different features. So this is a general foundation model that can do a lot of different tasks. Definitely not meant for real-time performance, but if you just want to do some checks, run some images through and get an image captioning, maybe use it as an auto labeling tool, and then you can fine-tune Ultralytics smaller models, so the YOLO 11 model for example, on smaller data sets. So we have a small model that can run in real time. So if you just go inside our blog post, we have blog posts covering a lot of different features. You can go way more into details with it here. We won't go through the blog post, but we're going to cover all the different tasks that it supports: object detection, segmentation, image captioning, visual grounding, and also zero shot performance. So here we can see we have spatial hierarchy, and we also have semantic granularity. Regional proposal for our bounding boxes. It can do classification, visual grounding, and object detection. And we can see we have these detailed captioning. So it's just a vision language model. As you know, with ChatGPT and all those models, they have the large language models, which only operates as text. But now we also have VLMs that takes images as input as well. And you have both image embeddings, text embeddings, and models that can go in and do reasoning in images with very good accuracy. So you can read more details about it in here, see some of the architectures, what it can be used for, and also comparisons with other VLMs. Very good to go through, know what is the space of VLMs. Let's jump straight into a Colab notebook. We have this notebooks repository on Ultralytics GitHub repo or GitHub if you go inside our notebooks. So this is a separate repo compared to the other one with the YOLO models, the training, Ultralytics framework, and all that. Here we have YouTube videos covering all of it. The rest here are coming up. We have the research papers, discussions going through the details, and then we have a Colab notebook that you can use out of the box. So these are the ones that we have for now. The other ones are upcoming soon. You can also go up here to our notebooks tab, hit it. We have the how to use Florence-2 for object detection. This is just an IPyB notebook that you can run through, but let's just open it up in Google Colab. So we have DPU resources and can just run the blocks one by one. Zoom in a bit so you guys can see what's going on. You can read about the model. So there's a transform encoder, transform and decoder, multitask prompt, so image captioning, localization of objects in the image. We have the image encoder up here that transforms the whole image into image embeddings. Combine that with the text embeddings, so we can see we have our visual embeddings, we have our text location embeddings, which is getting merged into the same embedding space, and then the encoder encodes those embeddings. We have the decoder, which basically just translates back into the results, so text and also location again. Then it just learns all the stuff inside the transformer architecture. So that is pretty cool, and the same way that it is done for large language models, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all those models. It's just only working on text. But they have VLMs working in there as well. You can just drop in an image, it's gonna understand what's going on in there as well. Let's just connect to it here. Let's run it. We pip install transformers and Ultralytics, import the different dependencies that we need. Then we can go in and download the Florence-2 model with transformers. So this is from Hugging Face. So we just specify Microsoft Florence-2 large, and then we can load it in from pre-trained auto model for casual LM, also pre-processor. We also need that one. Towards D-type auto, we specify CUDA if we have a CUDA GPU available, or else you can also run it on CPU. It's just gonna be much slower. In Google Colab, you have the free GPU resources that you can use as well. Right now, I'm on T4. So we're still setting up everything up here. After that, we can just run this block of code, and we have our model and we have our processor. Let's go down and take a look at our inference function. So this is just going to take in our image and also the task prompt that we want to have our model pretty much just understand, or what we want it to do. So we specify our prompt here. It can either be our task prompt plus text input, or basically just one of them. We have our processor, we throw in our prompt, and we throw in our image because we need to embed both our text and our embeddings into the same space as we saw up in the architecture diagram before. So then we have our inputs we can pass into our model. So we take our input IDs, we take our pixel values, We throw that into CUDA. We specify max new tokens. So this is how many tokens do we want to generate in our output results. So this could be around 1,000 words that we limit it to. We don't want early stopping. We want to use deterministic inference, so we don't want to sample. So we set that to false, basically just the seed value that we set. So we have the deterministic inference. So we basically just reduce randomness in our outputs. Then we can set the beam search here for better predictions as well. Then we decode our generated token IDs. So we have our encoder that's going to encode the embeddings. Then we have our decoder, which basically just need to take the outputs from our model with the generated IDs, decoded into generated text. So we convert text and images into embeddings. So that's basically just numerical numbers. Then we decode the numerical numbers to get our generated text from our VLM. Then we go on and post-process our generations. So we throw in our generated text, our text prompt, and also our image size. So that could be bounding boxes and all that it needs to take into account. It's still running all the setup up here at the top. Our model, we have our inference functions. We know exactly what's going on here. It does the whole step. So there's a very few lines of code that we need. We can just run this and then it will run it automatically once the other ones are finished. We download and read an image. So this is just an example image from Ultralytics that we want to basically just throw into it. So we read our image function. Let's run that one. Execute predefined task without extra inputs. Let's grant access to Hugging Face token. Execute predefined task without extra inputs. So here this is result format. We just wanted to extract bounding boxes and also labels. So this is for object detection. Object detection, OCR, image captioning, it can do all of it as any other vision language model out there pretty much. So this is the result format that we want to do. This is going to be our text prompt, task prompt, and we also have our image. We throw in our inference step, we get our generated text back. Then we can have our annotator set up our image, and then we can just draw our bounding box labels that we get from our results. So the generated text is going to have this JSON format. Then we just extract the JSON values from it, with our bounding boxes, labels. We draw it with the annotation tool from Ultralytics, and then we show our results. Let's see how far we are here now. So now we're downloading the model, PyCharge underscore model.bin. So 1.5 gigabyte model, significantly larger compared to the other models, which is 100 megabytes. So we can see here it's a significantly bigger model, like 15, 20 times bigger, so it won't be able to run in real time. We have a tokenizer config vocabulary, so this is for our encoder. There we go. Now that is done, we ran our inference, we have our image, and now we should be able to run our object detection. We're downloading our example image. We will throw that through our embedding model, our pre-processing. We run the inference, and this is the output that we get. So this is just example output. This is the real output that we just got from the model. So we take wheel, man, bus, coat, man, trousers, footwear, different types of footwear. So this is a very accurate model, as you can see. This can be used for also annotating all different types of data. So we didn't provide it any information at all. It just ran this and it gave so detailed. So this is pretty much just like zero shot object detection. If we scroll a bit further down, we can also do object detection on video. It's the exact same thing. Instead of just feeding it a single image, we're just gonna have a while loop running, capturing images from OpenCV from a video file. It's just gonna process it and write the results out to a video. So that's the exact same steps that we need to run through, just on videos where we load in individual images instead of an image. We can also have a caption. So this is just gonna run caption on this example. We're gonna download it from Ultralytics. I think we can even run this up here as well, just for the sake of it. Just gonna run this solutions CI demo. It will download automatically as well. It can run in the background while we take a look at the other results. So the caption from this example, a living room filled with furniture and bookshelves. Very accurate as well. We can specify that we want to have more details. Could be that we want to have exact details. We want to detect colors, different types of objects, basically just more metadata and so on. We can specify that here in our task prompt. Detailed caption, let's run that. Now we're running our video right now, so it will take some time before the other one. So let's see once this up here is done, but it's going to take significantly longer because they will process every single frame. More detailed caption, so we can just keep doing that, but you can also specify specifically what details do you actually want in your image. And here at the end, the image is a collage of 3 photographs of a modern living room. The first photograph on the left shows a black and white patterned armchair, very detailed as we can see here, with white gold or with gold legs and black coffee table in front, so you can even see that these are gold legs. Very good VLM that we have from Microsoft that can do a bunch of different stuff. Then dense region and captioning. Again, we can specify a bus in an image, an electric bus in Madrid, Spain, and we will basically just get this bus annotation, Zac Efron street style, beige shared wool coat. This is very detailed prompts that we're going to specify. Might not be useful for a lot of applications, but if you want to detect something very specific in your images, it actually has that reasoning of what's going on. Let's see if our video is done. Not yet. This is the output that we get here. Region proposal. We just have our boxes, labels. The only thing that we change is the region proposal, and it's just going to propose different types of regions for objects that's appearing in the scene. Also a very nice use case, execute predefined tasks that require additional input. So caption-to-phrase grounding. We can also extract specific results, a boss or Madrid boss, by passing additional text inputs. So here we go, glasses, Madrid boss. Caption-to-phrase grounding. These are 2 classes that we're only interested in our image, and we just run our annotator with our inference. So the main stuff that's going on is in the inference function that we went into details with step by step. Expression segmentation. Go down here, we can segment out a whole object as well, so it can support all these different tasks here with very high accuracy, so it's pretty awesome. Referring expression segmentation, polygon, and we have the labels. One object is represented by a list of polygons. Each polygon is x, y, x, y. And we can see here that we get a very detailed mask directly out of this VLM. Region-to-segmentation. We basically see what's going on here. So we have region-to-segmentation. We specify here a text input. And it's gonna basically just take this text and create a mask around it. Ton of different use cases here. Right now I'm just scrolling through it again. You can run it. It's just a few changes that we need to do into the task prompt, and it will be able to determine which of the tasks to use. So open vocabulary detection is basically just detects all different types of objects and so on with predefined categories. So it's basically just zero-shot learning. It can do anything. So trees, we just specify that we want to detect trees as text input, and it's going to find one tree in the left and also in the right, even though they are very occluded. So in a lot of cases, these VLMs, they have much better understanding, reasoning, and so on compared to object detection models. So it's very good foundational models, but they're also very slow. Here we can see that it's actually like off with the bounding boxes because it should have been an orient bounding box. But again, they still have some limits, but the OCR itself is very, very accurate. Let's see if the video is done. All the other use cases, the Google Color Notebook is available under the video, but also on the GitHub repository. You can just grab that directly. See if our video is done. It is done. Now we should be able to see it in here. So this is the demo. We have our output video. Let's download it and take a look at the results. So this might actually be the coolest one. Let's open it up. Inside our downloads. Let's open it via VLC. There we go. So this is actually like the outputs that we're running. Just pause the video. There we go. Let's make it a bit bigger. We detect all the persons walking around here. I know that if we run some of the smaller object detection models, it would have a very hard time like finding people up here. We can even see that it gets some footwear around. This is a very short video because this model is very slow at running inference, but it's good on just individual images. If you want to detect something very specific, do image reasoning, but it's not for edge processing at all. You could have your edge processing running there, and then you can have the other models here running in the background if you have alerts and so on, and basically just do verification on top of that. Hope you learned a ton in this video here. Definitely go through the notebook and the different use cases. It pretty much covers everything that a VLM can do, and then I hope to see you guys in one of the upcoming videos. Until then, happy learning.